Hey everybody, this is Mr. White. I wanted to make a video for you today to talk about some of the responses I've been seeing in terms of our Dr. Fauci assignment. I think you guys have all been doing an excellent job on that assignment. I'm actually wildly impressed with how many of you are keeping up with the news, how many of you are logging in not only to my assignments, but also just keeping an eye on that little news notification that you get on your phone. It's very impressive. What I'm going to talk to you today about is something that I'm noticing as a trend in everybody's submission. When I read your submissions, I can almost take a guess at what news outlet you look at or your parents look at based on your response. It's not a good or a bad thing. It's just something that you notice. And I kind of wanted to have a discussion with you about what we call media bias. So every media outlet has its own kind of internal motivation, right? Some portray stories that make the Democrats really good. Others portray stories that make the Republicans look really good. CNN, ABC, and NBC, they tend to try to make not only the Democrats look good, but they try to make the Republicans look bad. So a lot of their articles, right, focus on mistakes made by the Trump administration, mistakes made by Republicans in Congress, so on and so forth, and the correct things that Democrats are doing versus Fox, who looks at it from the opposite end of the spectrum. They look at it from the perspective of what the administration is doing right to keep businesses afloat. They look at it from the perspective of what maybe the Democrats are doing wrong to keep to suppress the growth of individual business and possibly hurt the sustainability of individual business. So they look at it from different angles, right? So they all use the same statistics and the same data, right? That is the stuff that doesn't change. It's the way they take that information and they portray it in their stories is how you get it and how you learn it and how you interpret it. So one thing I'm going to encourage you to do, right? I'm seeing a lot of people, I'm seeing several responses from Dr. Fauci that include kind of placing blame on the president. And whereas I think that some of you include in your statements, a lot of you that have written have included, right? We're staying at home to stay safe. That's something absolutely Dr. Fauci would say. I don't believe, based on the way he's handled himself, that he's going to directly blame the president of the United States for anything, whether he agrees with him politically or not, right? That's just not going to be really his route. But a lot of you are, again, I'm seeing the responses and I'm seeing a tendency. I could almost guess what news outlets that you watch. Um, Again, at a time like this, right, this isn't really about what we would call partisan politics, which is Democrats versus Republicans. This isn't what it's about. Unfortunately, some of your state leaders and your federal leaders are kind of showing that, whether they're Democrat or Republican, they're kind of demonstrating a little bit of what we would call partisan politics from both sides of the aisle. But this is really a time, right, where we should be looking at the common good of man and trying to look at how many people have recovered, right? We're seeing a lot of statistics and data coming out the last couple of weeks about Michigan recovery rates. That tells a very different story. So keep an eye on the data and use the stories to help use the news stories to help tell you about things going on, but also remember that those news stories are intended to invoke a reaction from you and to get you to see the favorability of one side of the political aisle versus the other, and that goes true for both news outlets that are conservative like Fox and One America, or more liberal outlets like NBC, ABC, CNN. Okay. I just really wanted to kind of point that out. Again, your answers have not been wrong. They've actually been really, really, really good. And I'm very impressed. I just want you to know that there are motives to media outlets. Okay. So when you're forming your opinions, be